Mr. Williams?
Oh, holy sh... No way. Steve, I didn't... Oh my God.
It's a lot. And we want to get bigger because we've got 3 other collectors who want to merge with us.
Wait, did you build this room knowing that this would be its layout?
This was a hen house. These were all hen houses.
No
Up
way.
until the early 70s, there were 20,000 hens.
My love for Star Wars is as much about the movies and shows as it is about the ways in which that universe has inspired fans to create their own art and stories. At Rancho Obi-Wan, legendary collector Steve Sansweet has amassed not only the world's largest collection of Star Wars memorabilia, but has also become a steward for beautiful fan-made artwork from the global Star Wars community. In my first ever visit to Rancho Obi-Wan, Steve showed me some of the most creative pieces of his collection that spotlight Star Wars' deep cultural impact.
Dude, I can't believe I have never been here. That is a crime, and I'm glad we're dealing with that. But even though I've been hearing about this place for decades, I was unprepared for the scope. Is there a branch of Star Wars ephemera that you don't collect? Is there a boundary?
No boundaries. I collect everything. Star Wars has had such a major influence on products and what fans make, and I love it all. The art, the behind-the-scenes part of Star Wars.
So bar coasters from Venezuela from the late 90s would be in your...
How did you find those?
It doesn't matter what it is. If it has Star Wars tinge on it, you want it.
I want it, yeah.
We're standing in this zone, which I find particularly exciting, which is other countries' execution of Star Wars IP.
Star Wars was so popular worldwide. So first the English-speaking countries,
right.
Germany, France, but Japan went over the top. Star Wars didn't open there until a year after it opened in the US, one of the last markets.
Wow.
So in June 1978. And the Star Wars products, I mean, we go from things like this that they adapt into their own style. So these are the tenugui, I'll probably pronounce it wrong, or the tea towels from Japan that date back over 1,000 years in the Japanese style. So the cherry blossoms, and then we get
beautiful.
something like the Yoda piece. Oh, this is a T-shirt. This is amazing.
Oh, wow.
I love these.
Oh, look at that face. Look at his samurai face.
So this is actually rice snacks, still sealed, with a little toy inside that I can't get to because I can't break the seal.
Have you had it x-rayed?
That costs too much. I could spend that money on a Star Wars collectible.
Fair.
Nothing like an R2-D2 Roomba from Japan.
What?
So this was a limited edition premium.
Oh my gosh.
And my favorite toy of all time, the Space Odyssey toy from Takara.
They all talk to each other?
They all dance together. And they each have different themes.
Oh, it is playing music. They're doing a dance to a song.
They're tapping to a song.
Holy cow. What a thing. And so you could collect however many of these you wanted, and you could line them all up.
You buy them one a piece each.
One at a time. So theoretically, you could also connect these ones back here, and they...
Yep.
Oh my God, that's great.
And from the amazing, unmissed George Lucas Super Live Adventure, this is the countdown clock on the counter of the NKK TV network.
No.
Limited edition from Japan, licensed Cause, Stormtrooper, and Darth Vader, and the replica version of the Boba Fett.
I love this different colorway for 3PO.
So that's the prototype, the 3PO, for the actual model.
Prototypes are among my favorite things in the toy collecting.
Yeah, I love them.
So I'm curious about Middle Eastern countries.
Not much.
Not much.
Nothing from India.
Okay.
Except some posters.
Yeah.
Star Wars was not very popular in India for some reason or other.
Interesting.
And the Middle East, there's some stuff from Egypt, but reprints of comic books and very little. There's some Egyptian posters. There are painted posters from Ghana, because they used video carts that go around to the individual villages, and they show DVDs of the movies,
Yeah.
and they paint these posters, which are
You bought this
very strange.
Oh, wow.
They're painted on the back of flour sacks. Great stuff.
What are some of the weirder things other countries have done with Star Wars IP? Do you have a particular, like, this is totally batshit?
Some of the unauthorized action figures are pretty amazing. They in Turkey there is a figure called Headman, and they called it Stars War because they thought they could get away without being sued. They were wrong.
When I'm looking at endless Grogus, is there like a period where there's just a week where you're just like, it's all Grogu this week?
Yes, all Grogu, all BB-8. Ann and I just focus on characters that we love and collect. This is maybe 1% of the worldwide Grogu products that have been out there in the last couple of years.
So despite your rampant, constant collecting, you're not able to be a full completist.
There is a limit, both financially and space-wise.
Fair.
Well, let's say hello to Grogu here.
What?
Oh, he's got a preacher on his.
Dude, what is this beautiful
So
thing?
this is a pre-order from Mattel, a very limited edition.
What? I never even heard about this. Must have one.
It's very cool.
Oh my gosh. And did it come with this?
Yes.
That's spectacular. All right, Steve, you called this the treasure room.
Right.
What is this?
One of my great treasures is the original model for the full-size Millennium Falcon that they built for The Empire Strikes Back.
That's what this is.
They built it at a former Royal Navy shipyard in Wales, and they kept it top secret, of course.
Right.
So a newspaper got a leaked story, and they called it a flying saucer being built.
Of course. So this is the actual welding guidance model.
It's the plastic model for the individual pieces of the Falcon. And then they cut them apart once they built the full Falcon. This photos taken by Gary Kurtz, the producer of the movie.
Oh my goodness.
And then you see the mailing label, he had it sent back to him.
3160 Kerner Boulevard. Look at that. And there it is being welded full size. What an artifact. How did you come across this?
Well, Gary was selling some things many
yes,
years
I remember
ago.
this.
So they were in a storage unit that had been there for 20 years. And the head of one of the former heads of the fan club I heard through Greg Jane of Star Trek fame that some of this stuff was up for sale. And I went over to his house and looked at and thought, oh, this is a treasure.
Because this is in remarkable shape for its
it
age.
was in a big wooden box. So it was pretty incredible.
What a thing. This is how we did engineering before we had CAD.
Well, and that's the amazing thing about Star Wars fans. They are into the behind the scenes, the making of.
It's so funny because Star Wars came out in 77. I was 10 years old. I immediately started reading Famous Monsters, Cinefantastique, and I saw that people did that. Your collection seems to encompass a lot of the fandom about Star Wars as well as the IP of Star Wars.
Yeah, Lucasfilm is amazing because unlike other owners of IP, a little different today, but back in the day, they let fans play in the sandbox, in the Star Wars sandbox, and that has only come to help Star Wars over the years.
It ends up being such a sort of a deep line of love and exploration of the franchise.
Yeah, the deeper you go, the more amazing it is.
Can we talk about this beautiful Millennium Falcon piece?
This is an amazing piece. So it's a limited edition piece from France, from a licensee named Atticus.
So this was licensed?
Very heavy, very heavy. So you could get just the Falcon, or you could get the Falcon with the hallway where Darth and Obi-Wan are fighting.
And they're modular.
They're modular.
Oh my God.
And of course, the figures are separate. Like batteries not included, figures not included.
Oh, look at this. This is exactly the size I want a Millennium Falcon.
It's perfect. And the interior is so good. Unfortunately, they didn't supply a lighting kit for it, but I had a friend in the South Bay of San Francisco who is an amazing lighting guy, Randy Newbert, and he came and lighted it up, and it's 1,000% better and more exciting.
Look, I know that collecting is often an exercise in mild disappointment, right? You see something like this and you think it's never going to show up and be that good. But this must have blown your mind when it arrived.
It did, even though this piece of the Falcon was apart. So another former ILM guy, Danny Wagner, did an amazing job on it.
Amazing. What a gorgeous thing. Oh, all I want to do is spend all day inside there.
Yeah.
Right? What? No way.
So this hallway was built by the R2 builders for Celebration 4, and then they had no further use for it, so they gave it to us, and that's one of the reasons we decided to combine these two buildings.
This is insane. Oh my goodness.
Wonderful large pieces from Sideshow.
You,
Yeah?
you in Rebel Starship Corridor 1138. What are you doing there?
I'm just showing
We'll
some
need to
fun.
see some identification.
You don't need to see our identification.
We don't need to see their identification.
What about the guests?
Oh, these aren't the guests you're looking for.
These aren't the guests we're looking for.
We can continue on our journey.
We can let them through now.
Thanks, bud.
Move on.
Amazing.
Move
Yeah.
on.
What?
Watch your step. A friend of mine named Philip Wise in Texas built the Jarrett table, built like 3 of them.
Oh.
And another guy in the Midwest sculpted these well before Regal Robot was an
Yeah.
idea.
You said this is one of one.
Where else are you going to find a Yaddle bread sculpture?
This is made entirely of bread.
It's made entirely of bread. It was commissioned by Lucasfilm Animation for their wrap party for Tales of the Empire. And it was made by, let me see here, One House Bakery in Benicia, California.
Unbelievable work.
So they said it would last maybe 3 months. It's lasted for almost a year.
I was wondering.
Because it's coated in 4 sheets of lacquer.
Yeah.
We have a little crack in the lightsaber here.
I can't believe that it's as whole and complete as it is.
It's pretty amazing. I think they also did a clone trooper earlier.
There's a lot of fan art that falls into the category of like, it's just so beautiful that someone executed it. This also happens to be
It's an amazing
remarkably
piece,
great
yeah.
sculpt. Oh, wow.
Put the whole thing in a resin block.
Yes.
In a resin block.
That's not a preservative.
Be expensive.
All right, Steve, we have to talk about this unbelievable thing.
So this is from Mexico, all hand-beaded, and it was made by Ulysses Perez, who came to Celebration Anaheim in 2022, I believe, and was dressed himself head to toe in a stormtrooper costume that was all hand-beaded, and he had won in a previous costume contest at Celebration in Chicago in 2019. But he had a whole bunch of helmets that he brought to our exhibit, the Rancho Obi-Wan exhibit at Celebration, and this was among them. And it's from the Huichol culture in Mexico.
The iconography and the patterning.
Yes, but I mean, there's all kinds of Aztec and Mayan symbols.
Snakes and animals and oh my God.
Can you imagine hand beating something like this, or a
No.
full stormtrooper costume?
And it's also perfectly shaped. These are among my favorite helmets in the Star Wars
They're great.
universe.
I love them.
I love that fight scene from episode 8. Yes.
8.
8. There we go. But I just can't get over how beautiful this is.
Well, the more you look at it, the more spectacular it becomes.
There must be, I know that when you go to museums, like I've been to the Vatican, and you see the intense amount of labor in some of the objects there, and you understand that labor is part of the devotional aspect.
Yes.
I'm seeing that here too.
Well, indeed. That's why I've gotten so much into fan-made objects and art in the last 15 years. That's been my main collecting area.
Really? I mean, it's almost like a cargo cult. It's like you're watching them endlessly recapitulate these narratives into brand new universes.
I haven't heard about cargo cults since a pop psychology class I took it many years ago in college.
But it is religious and almost in its devotional aspect.
I agree.
What? I'm so inspired by this piece. It's incredible. Steve, what is this beautiful thing?
So this is an amazing fusion between Southeast Asian shadow puppetry,
Yeah.
and you put on shadow puppetry shows, and popular culture. And it's from a new friend of mine named Tintoy Chu from Malaysia. And Tintoy has done that fusion. In fact, he calls it fusion Weylang kulit. And these are made either on cowhide or bison or buffalo hide.
I thought it was on metal or tin, given the
It's
intricacy.
pretty amazing. And when you shine a light onto it, you have your phone handy?
Yeah.
You can see the puppetry in the back, and then
Oh my gosh.
you get movement.
I had no idea how perforated it was. Look at that.
It's really an art that he is. And he does all kinds of pop culture.
Oh, there's the rebel symbol. Oh my.
He snuck lots of stuff in.
This is insane.
So he and his son were able to visit Rancho Obi-Wan last summer, which was great.
Oh, that must have been a wonderful visit to Valhalla for them.
Yeah, and he did a lecture at Pixar on what he does.
Yeah.
So it was pretty amazing.
I love that you've spent the last 15 years concentrating on the fan art. It is
Fan art and posters. I've got a poster to show you that we just got. Ann and I accidentally started bidding against each other for it.
Then you know you're on the right team.
So this is a Soviet era 1984 propaganda poster. And let me look at my CCCP USSR.
Yeah.
Space for peace, it says. The USSR proposes to stop the deployment of weapons of any kind into space. So we have their space program, Yuri Gagarin, a painting that they did of a satellite.
Yeah.
And then they have the Space Shuttle Columbia, the Death Star, the Star Destroyer, and TIE fighters. Which I don't think they got permission from Lucasfilm to use. I don't see a copyright Lucasfilm on anything.
What a piece.
But it's amazing how Star Wars has become, because Ronald Reagan did the Strategic Defense Initiative, or tried to do.
They called Star Wars.
That Ted Kennedy called Star Wars in Congress, and then the AP and other newspapers picked it up.
Yeah.
And actually, Lucasfilm sued the AP over the use of Star Wars and lost.
I think they had to.
Yeah.
Right? They had to give it a shot. That is amazing. I have so many questions. I could be here for weeks, but what do you see as the future of this incredible collection?
So four other collectors and I, 3 collections, are talking about merging together and creating something called the Saga Museum of Star Wars Memorabilia.
Amazing.
And one of them has the best prop and costume collection and helmets and weapons from Star Wars. One of them has amazing pre-production items of the toys and other objects.
Yeah.
And one of them has an amazing international collection. And probably 1.5 million pieces altogether. So we're trying to figure out we've been working on this for over 3 years.
You're looking for a venue?
We're looking for one of 8 cities.
Oh my goodness.
And maybe doing a pop-up exhibition in the next couple of years. And we have to raise revenue, of course.
Sure,
so
fair.
it's all difficult. But you can go online to ranchoobiwan.org.
Okay.
And you can click on the pop-down menu on the Saga Museum, and you can donate online. You can become a member of Rancho Obi-Wan or do a tour of Rancho Obi-Wan. We do tours on Saturday mornings.
I love it. We will include a link in the description for the fans so they can click on that. I'm so glad you're thinking that big, because this is incredible.
More people need to see it.
I did not realize how much you concentrated on the foreign market executions and the fan stuff, because the fan stuff feels so loving in this deep way that feels like my 10-year-old self.
It's really authentic.
Yeah. And it's like this franchise has generated so much for our culture. It's lovely to see the culture responding back.
And almost 50 years on, it's strong.
Years. Yeah.
It really is strong.
Steve, I can't thank you enough for this visit, and I hope it's the first of many.
Adam, thank you very much. Welcome back anytime.
Incredible.